Alright, so this is on. Is this working? Alright, cool. Alright, so what I'm gonna do right now is kind of go over the shader process, right, for Tekken. So for Tekken 8, which is way more in depth than it was in Tekken 7. So that's great. I know a lot of people are making comments about the textures and the models, and they're like, oh, it's not from the ground up, blah blah blah, whatever. Yo, this is freaking amazing the way they've got things set up. So this is just the shirt texture, and I've had to build a pretty decent setup for it. And my goal is to create easier to use one so other people don't have to do it. But I think it's still important that if you are going to start modding and doing stuff, that you understand what you can do within Blender, kind of how the game devs are looking at stuff, so you can make the best products that you want, right? So I'm gonna kind of like take it apart a little bit and see. And this is a whole mess. So let me go ahead and save this real quick. And I've got this little quick tool here with a couple of resources on it. I don't know what that's doing. Oh, it's not working for some reason. Let me see. I've been making some changes to it. So this isn't the build that's available, but you know, whatever. I don't need that right now. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So I saved it. I'm actually save a copy, so I can, in case I mess everything up. All right, call this demo. Nice. And let me save it in the right folder. Okay, so let's go ahead and strip this bad boy down. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug everything, and hopefully I remember where everything goes. All right. Hey yo, you could tell Harada knows. It's a Unreal. This is the thing about Unreal games is they've got there's no key on this thing, right? So as long as you have access to the game, you could take a look at stuff and see how it works. Now they might lock it up later, I don't know, but for now, let's appreciate all that these devs are doing for us. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm starting this off with, let me go back to my material list. Bam. And I'm starting this off with just the one material. Everything else is whatever. So if I change this to nodes, you can see like this is what I'm going to be working with. And so let's go ahead and change this back to use nodes. And I'm going to go into edit mode. And I'm going to select that material like this, and then hit Control I, and then hide it. So now I'm just looking at this. All right, so let's go with the basic portion of this whole setup. So, hey, what's going on? Ace and Chases. Just going over the build. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer them. But if you want to get these, get all the good information for this, you can use U model or F model. I don't have a guide on setting it up. I had some friends help me in the past, so my system's already set up for it. But you can check out there's a modding Zaibatsu Discord. I think TekkenMods.com has some resources as well. But come on over, check it out. Jump into the community if you want to. But let me go ahead and pull that up also, so you can see where I started. So I'm gonna pull up F model. So here's F model. I can I don't know what it's, oh, I think I have another window open. Okay, so let me close this for a second. Yeah, what's going on? Ready today? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and when you get everything set up in F model, once you get to that point, that's where I'm gonna kind of start. I'm not gonna go into the background for that because this is gonna focus more on the shading aspects and shit. So Once you get into F model, you're going to navigate to wherever the character is you want to mess with. In this case, this is the file path. And I'm just going to click on this, and I use I think the MSL mesh. How was your day? My day was good. It was just chilling. My day has just started, actually. I took the day off from work. Okay, and so this is a 3D view of the mesh. There's no color to it, right? So we have to add all the colors ourselves. Oh, I appreciate you asking though. Thanks. Hope yours was good. Your day is ending? Oh man, must be on the other side of the world then. I'm in the Midwest in USA. But if you go in here, you'll be able to get a lot of information about all the different materials on your stuff. Down under. I always wanted to go to Australia. I'm afraid of Australia though, because you know, it's I hear stories about crazy critters and things of that nature, and nature is a scary thing. So we're working on the tops, MI, for this one, and so this is all I have right here, right? This picture, and then I got all this data, right? I'm like, what do I do with it? So first, I'm gonna load the diffuse color, right? It's called color. Where is it? ID. Here. All right. So it's got color A and color B. All right. We're just gonna focus on. Don't be afraid. Look. Look. All I see is what I see on TV. You know what I mean? And the bugs look huge. And I don't even like the small bugs that are here in the US. Oh, come on, PC. But needless to say, in F model, you can get a lot of different data for how to fill this out. So I'll get back to F model in a second. Get back into here. Okay, so I start off with, usually I like to start off with the ID map, right? I'll kind of go through how I set it up. So I grab a copy of the ID map and I just shove it onto my base color right here, and it loads up, right? And it's got all these different colors and things set up to it, and we're going to use those colors to assign areas and stuff. What have I learned about myself recently? I don't know what I've learned about myself. I haven't learned anything. I've been very unproductive in self-discovery. What about you? What have you learned about yourself? I also learned that if I take my time, I can get more stuff done. I like to rush. Okay, so this is what we call like a channel packed image. So let's go ahead and open up the image viewer real quick and make sure it's set to this ID. So go up here, type in ID, look for it. There it is. Okay. And you can set, oh my goodness, the system's so slow. You are unknowable? That's impossible. So if I look at the ID on its face, this is what it looks like, right? It's got an alpha mask, and then it's got some colors, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But if I look at the individual channels, each of those channels are packed with a different area. All right, that's green. This is, oh no, that first one was red, green, and then blue, right? And then I can look at the alpha by itself. So I got these 4 different areas, and what Tekken 8 has done is they've expanded it. You're infinite and you're 12? Well, you know what? Then I guess you are absolutely infinite at this point. At the dawn of life, you truly have no limits. You haven't been molded by life yet, and I hope you never are. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split these channels up, right? Because as they are, we can't really use them. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit Shift A as to search, and then I'm gonna get the separate color node. Oop, drop it in there. All right, and it just defaults to red initially. So this is what I have. I've got this red these are the red colors. So everything that's white is one of these shades of that are listed here in the red channel. But I want these separated, and that's where it gets kind of tricky with this whole setup. And so I had to build like a node setup, and I'll kind of show you how I built that node setup and what I figured it out. The other thing that I noticed is if I go back to F model and I go up here to the split number channel, it has RGBA values, and each of them have a number associated with them, 2, 4, 4, and 3. And what that means is that the red channel has two different values that it'll be using. The blue channel, or the green channel and the blue channel both have 4, and then the alpha channel has 3. So that's going to kind of help me set up my my mask. Right, go back to red real quick, just so it's over there. And we'll start with red. It's the simplest, and we'll figure it out. I'm going to refer back to this complicated thing, which I'll explain later. I just want to grab a piece of it. Okay, cool. And what I'm doing right now is I just want to remember the notes, the numbers that I used. Got a notepad on the side. Okay, so we got 1. And I'll explain what this is in just a second. All right, this one. All right, cool. So yeah, let's go back to the top. Doop, doop, doop. All right, so we're going back over here. Move this stuff over here so it's all by itself. And I want to split this up into different sections. So if it was only one color or one item in here, then it would be very simple. But I need to isolate this white little tab, and I need to isolate the upper body area. So one of the ways that I figured out how to figure out what numbers I need to use is by comparing them, looking at the values of the actual channel mount. But let's go ahead and I'm going to add a color ramp. So color ramp. Oops, not a color ramp. Today search color ramp. All right, so I'm adding this color ramp in here. And what I want to do is I want to isolate just the areas I want. So if this is being a full white, then I want this to be 1. So to make this a little bit easy, so if I slide this down, you can see I can get rid of those colors and just have that 1. And I'm going to move this one. I'm going to use constant in this case. And I like to have 3 different stoppers, I guess. And I set the middle one as white. Nope. I set the last one, number 2, as black. All right, cool. And what I need to do is move this all the way over, so it's just going to pull. I just wanted to pull the white. And I figured out that the closest I can get to it, I believe, is 0.995. And so what I do is I set the first one at 0. Then I want it to start to grab all the values between 0.995 and 1. Right? Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Shift-D to make a copy of it. And now I need to get the rest of these other colors over here. And this one is always standard, and I believe that 1 is like the last color in the list, like the the highest number color, I guess. So I'll kind of break that down as I get more involved with the IDs and such. But what we're doing right now is trying to figure out how to separate that color mask into IDs that we can then use for everything else in the shader. Okay, so now I need the second color. So I'm gonna, oops, not that. I'm gonna keep that one there. Grab my white one, and I need to get the rest of it. All right. So when I pull it back, I get to about 2.7. So I'm gonna do 0.208 is the number I found it works the best for me. And then I'm gonna pull this other one closer because I don't want this runoff here, right? I don't want this trim. I want to get that as small as possible. And so the closest I can get to this is what I want, and keep my color, right? So I'll set this to 0.212. I think is the closest I've gotten. All right, cool. So now I have two different masks, and the way masks works is real simple, or it's simple to me now, but I'll kind of try to explain it. So I'm gonna hit Shift A, search, and I'm gonna create a mixed color node. Waiting for the final product. Yeah, when this is all done, I'm probably just gonna release this as a Blender thing. I mean, the game's gonna be coming out in just a few months, so there's no need to have this. But for other modders that are gonna be looking to either use these models for other things or put it into their games, or want to make very specific changes within the game, the more you understand about how it's set up, the better you'll be. But yeah, I think I'll probably set this up. I might rig it and make it available as a mod in Tekken. I don't know, we'll see. I might just bring the outfit over, I don't know. These characters don't have bodies yet, and I don't think we're gonna have access to that until the final release, if we do have access, but I digress. So the first thing that I have right now is I want to put colors on these two different masks. All right, so I'm going to take this color slot and I'm going to put it into the factor, is what it's called, right? Factor. And this is going to be the light and dark values. It's going to split up light and dark between these two, A and B. So, and A is usually like your default. So if I make it, let's like make it pink or something, I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. Oh, this might not. Oh, all right, let me plug this in. Gotta be plugged in to work. Okay, and so you can see that everything except for this area is pink, and that's what we want, right? Because I only want to change the color of this area. So now I can change that to whatever color I want it to be. So I'll just make this one full red. And I'm gonna make this base color black just so everything stands out. And now if I do that again, I can do this. And now I'm gonna take this side and do the exact same thing over here. And now let's switch it out. Okay, and so now all of that is red. But we need to put it together. So it's usually pretty simple. I'm just gonna grab the result here. I'm gonna plug it into the top part there. Right? And then this is going to be my color, and then the factor will be that mask that I made down here. And I can change this to say green if I want it to be. All right, cool. And what I have done is I've gone ahead and, so far from my understanding, we've got 4 different options with regards to how they split up colors in this game. Each of the colors, or each of the channels, I think R, G, B, and A for alpha, all have 4 different hues that they can use from, and they choose whether they're going to use 1, 2, 3, or 4. And that's what that split channel was that I showed earlier. Red channel only has 2, and so theoretically it's just split in half. Like the color values, they could just split it in half, but I believe they were a little bit more precise, and so I have one that's split into 4, right? And so we'll let's go ahead and I'll show you the setup that I have for the 4. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and thing with these nodes, they can get pretty big pretty fast. So let's take a look at green. Green has 4 different colors in it, so it's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to do essentially the same thing. Let me grab one of these and just bring it down. I'm just using Shift D to grab one. And I'm going to grab this channel here and I'm going to make a color ramp. I'm just going to copy this one. I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to make sure my 2 is all the way at 1. And then this one I want to move around and play with. But let's go ahead and set this one the same as the 1 up here. When I look at the actual channel over here, I can see that this is the brightest piece right here. And this is what I want to try to color. And I'm looking at different areas, right? And then I also have let me see if I got this. And so I grabbed some screenshots as well to kind of like act as a reference. So I can kind of see what's going on. And I look in the back here and I don't have a lot of good pictures of it, but it's going to give me a general idea to make sure everything is kind of where it is and how it's supposed to be. But we've got green and I want to change this color right here. So that's what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to set this the same as this one. And actually I don't even have to reset it. I'm just going to copy it and bring it down. Plug it in. Plug this into the factor. And I'll just plug this one up here. And now everything should be black except for that area. And voila, there we go. Nice. Now I need to find the next color. Now, when I was trying to find the colors and figure out what range I was going to use, I wasn't sure how to do that. I was trying to look through F models, see if I can get some data I can use, but it wasn't the most reliable, and it's not built for Blender. It's built more so for Unreal Engine. So some of the data doesn't transfer exactly. So the way I found a way around that was I Shift A, search RGB. Let's go ahead and make a little RGB wheel, and I'm going to click on this and then go to eyedropper and then move the eyedropper over here and click on it. And it's going to pick whatever color. And you'll see it's green because it's actually a green area. But the only thing I really want is the value. And so I look at the value and it's like 0.521. And that's what I'm going to be using. Now I'll just leave this over here for a second. And I can do that for each of them. And that's essentially what I did, right? So I have that area that's green that I want colored. And let's see. Is this a different color? Oh, it looks like it is. Now we'll look at it. Oops. And this is 0.212. And actually where I want to look at it is here in the HSV. 0.212, the value. And I think there's a really dark spot somewhere. Yeah, this over here. And this one is 0.050. And so I found that these ranges right here, zoom. Oh, it's, these ranges work the best so far in getting the cleanest lines. I think 9, 5. So when I'm setting up these color ramps, these are the numbers that I'll be using. Now this works for a, let me go put it up here. This is ID 2 and 4, both use the same breakdown. ID 3 has its own, and I'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, move that off to the side real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab this one as well. See? And I'll put the green into the bottom there. And once this is set up, I can make it small so it's not taking up too much space. And this one's already set up, so I can just plug this into the next one as well. Shift D, and if I just drop it in front of here, it'll link itself up. As long as something else isn't already linked up. Now I'll grab the factor, throw it in there. And let's just give it a generic color of green. And see, oh, look, there we go. We colored this green part down there and that background up there. Very nice. I'll make another one of these. And let's make another one of these. Hook it up to green. And now I want to change these values. So I said that I'm going to make the next group, I believe. I think this group is 0.212. I'm going to try to go from lowest to highest. So this one is 1. This one is 0.2. This is going to go in between this one. So we'll make 1 at 0.520. Oops, here we go. 0.520. Wait, what? And 2 is going to be 0.525. All right. It's already plugged in. And I'm going to move this to here. Move this one to here. And I think I'm actually going to reverse this whole setup in just a moment. Yeah, I think I will, so I don't get confused. This one is 0.35. This one's 0.45, I believe. Oops, no. This one is 0.035. And this one is 0.045. There we go. Yeah, I gotta check that. Boom. In case you needed that, that's the corrected version. All right, cool. All right, so this is going to be the darkest value. That doesn't need to be plugged in there. And this is going to be the next darkest item. And then so on, and or until we get to the lightest. So darkest to lightest. And I'm just going to reset these by just changing the factors. Like that. And like that. Alright, and I'm just going to change these colors just so we can see how they split. Living life just multitasking. Smile like a horror movie. I'm laughing. Motivated and focused. Crafting. Dash something in a break. All your eggs in a basket. Can't handle it. Why you asking? Can't handle it. Why you asking? Can't handle it. Why you asking? Please don't try it. Nah, don't try it. You can't feed me lies, won't buy it. Question everything. Told them nah, don't try it. Yeah, but you're moving like some sidekick. But you're moving like some waste man. Trying to impress me, won't like it. Be yourself, man. Please don't try it. Really, why do they always? Nah, don't try it. You can't feed me. Okay, so this one needs to be, let's say 0.05 would be a better option. Alright, where's my blue one though? I don't know where the blue is at. There it is. Okay, so the blue is too tight. So we'll say 0.515. All right, and I want to try to get this one a little bit cleaner. I can't remember if it's supposed to be a border or not. Oops. What was that? And I'm not, there's like a teeny tiny bit of runoff here because I don't have the numbers exact right now. And I don't like it. See that teeny tiny bit of like overlay across, whatever. Trying to get rid of it. Alright, there it is. Nope, that gets rid of the actual color. So it can be a pain in the butt. But ultimately, that's the process that I went through, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this because I've already done all this. And we'll go into here. And I'll try to make this available. All right, so this looks kind of chaotic, so let's go down to the base level of it. And as you can see in this section, I've done just what I said I did before, right? And this is how it's set up, and it's been working great. So I'm not sure. Each of these are a 4 setup, except for, and this one's a 4 setup as well, but I'm not using it. But ultimately, what I did was I just created all of this, right? Oops. You go in here, and then I just made it into a group, right? Make group, and it makes a little group. See, a little group. I'm gonna ungroup these because groups are great, but you don't want to go overboard with them. Ungroup. Nice. I just plugged it in, just got color outputs right there. And then each of those groups were then fed a channel, and then those channels were dropped into here. And then I ordered the channels so that way the colors were in the right order to match the game's ID map setup. So now I can just refer back to these numbers. Alpha, you can't run through the separate nodes because it's not an R, G, or B. So you just use the alpha. But either way, it creates this stack. So if I go out of here, I now have a stack of IDs. If I go like this, I hit Shift D, and right now it's small. Well, I can unhide the parts that I had hidden. So let's say, go. And now these are all the different IDs, right? And these I can use as masks throughout the entire thing for coloring. And so what I did is I took them and broke them up, and I separated them by groups, and each of these groups are all the same. And the thing with no groups is if I change something in here, it will change for all the versions of it unless I make a unique one. But which is fine because I want them to do the same thing for all of these. This one's different, but like I said, I'll explain that later. But I set it up for RGB. They're all split. I could use one big one and just wire it all around, but as you can see, the wires can get pretty intense pretty fast. So this is what I decided to use nonetheless. All right, so there you go. I've got ID 1 and 2, ID 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then down here I have, I don't know why that says, let me fix this one real quick. And I'm going to fix the naming here by going to group or whatever. And I'm just going to make this one 12. Or no, that's 13. 14, 15. This one needs to be 15. This one needs to be 16 or 14. And make sure my order is set. In this case, is it split into 3? So I've got the first section, second section, and the third section down here. And I'm going to name these, and they're going to have a specific group and stuff named later. So you can do that. But nonetheless, I follow that same process I did earlier, except now I'm using this to pull all of my masks from my ID masks. And you just plug it in. Just make sure that you feed the row into the A slot, and then just keep the path going on until you get to the very end. And boom. And so at the end of this whole big old chain, I bring that back up. So I just have one output here. But then because I want to use these masks later, this is a combination of all the colors. But since I want to use these masks later, I brought each of them that I'm actually using, plugged it into here. And now when I go out here, I have this very small consolidated one, or I can make it bigger like this one. But that's it. So that, and this gives me my color and everything. So I got my color and my mask all in this group node right here. I plug in my ID mask and my alpha, and then I just start that same process, but out here in the node section. So let's make this a little bit smaller. Start plugging some of it up. And I got my coloring from F model. I'll go into F model. I can look at the color ID maps and get it. And I just did it by eye, but if you wanted to be exact, you could hover over it and it will tell you what values each of the colors are. All right. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug. Well, let's see. So let's see, if I plug this in, right, we'll see that all the coloring that I have established is right here, right? This is just the base coloring. And this doesn't look like the finished product, of course, but this is just the base coloring from the masks. So then I go ahead and blend that with the diffuse mask, which is just that grayscale mask. And that's this map right here. I think it should open if I click on it over here. Do I have 2 windows? I do. I don't. This is just really big for some reason. Whoop. Okay, so this is just a grayscale map. Doesn't do anything. So what I want to do is merge it together. So I got my ID map up here. Got my color map or diffuse map down here. I create a mixed color node and I set it to overlay. Some people use multiply. I found that overlay is a much cleaner look overall, at least in Blender. And I plug the color, this gray one, into the bottom as the original, and then I place this one as going over top of it, and then I set it to overlay. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right, and now we can see it looks a little bit more, there's more shading going on. It's starting to look a lot better. We've got this design stuff going on here. We're like, all right, cool. This is starting to look good. All right. Look at it without any lines over top of it. All right, cool. But we can't stop there. That's just the beginning. Now what I need to do is get my pattern. So a PC is a pattern color. And I believe most of the pattern colors are just like decal sheets, right? So they're using they're not using different channel color packing and stuff. They're using oh, let me click on the right one. There we go. So you see like this transparent all behind this stuff. And I want to combine that with this one. But first, I'm gonna use my my additional. So when I look at the additional map here, I see that a lot of it is focused on like different areas. And so I'm not 100% sure exactly how all of the maps are being used together, but I found in this case, this one works. This is giving me the best result, and I might play around with it later to see. But so basically what I'm doing is I'm using the pattern color, and I'm overlaying it over top of the additional C map, the additional color map, right? And I'm using a blend overlay. And then because the transparency, I don't care if there's any transparency here. I want the transparency to be over all of it. So I'm doing that same thing I did with the masking up here, and I'm using the transparent as a mask and plugging this into the bottom so that whatever is visible per this mask is shown down here, and mix it together. And now I got this. So let's go ahead and grab that, plug it in. All right, cool. And it added some extra details here. This coloring. All right, so if I switch between the two, see there was nothing there, but now there is. They're like, all right, cool. Starting to look pretty harangy, right? All right. So that's the basic part, or the most basic part, I guess. Also, some of the more time-consuming. Yeah, what's good, Queen? Queen user looking good. Mode. Cool name. I like it. All right. So that gives us Harangue's top base colors, but this ain't what we want though. We want more. We can't just be happy with this, or at least I can't. So let's take a look at some of the other masks that are going to be, or the other maps that are going to be used. So let's take a look at the OBD map. So from my understanding, the OBD map is a channel packed texture, and it has 3 different channels on it, but it only really uses 2 as far as I'm aware. No, we're not getting any TA mods yet, as far as I know. But we get the information right now, so that if Namco doesn't decide to stop us or slow us down, more so than stop us, we want to be able to be good. Yeah, day one, I'm hoping we got some good stuff though. I'm hoping. We'll see. I think mods did a great job of keeping Tekken 7 alive, of assisting in it for like what feels like forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Tekken 7's been around forever. A lot of Tekken 7 players now, that's the only game they've even played. So I'm hoping they don't try to do that to us to try to gain a buck. You know what I'm saying? That'd be real shady. But okay, let's go. So we have an OBD map. So what I did is I used a separate color mask or node. Oop. And there are 3 different masks in here. it's got a red map, and typically what happens is that they're named in order of the channel. So OBD is going to correlate to O, B, and D. So O is an opacity mask, it's a separate alpha mask. It's becoming more and more popular to use because of the ability to quickly edit things and such. But you've got an opacity mask, and this is going to get plugged into the alpha of your material. In this case, I look at it, it's all white, so it's not really going to make a difference either way. If you want to make sure that you're seeing the alpha, you have to, when you're in Eevee, go down and change your mode to alpha hashed, alpha clip, whatever is using an alpha. Nice. And then the other part of this map is it's a damage mask. So what I did is we could just drop it on here like this. All right, so I'm gonna grab this and let's go ahead and see what it looks like. All right, look at that. All that, it's dirt, damage, blood. I don't know what the hell it is. But basically, if you look at it here, yeah, look at blue. You can see all this grunge dirt crap. You know what I mean? It's going on to getting put on there. And this acts like a mask. And all the white parts become dirty. And as you can see, all that shit is dirty. And I can change the color if I want to. But I'm just using like a deep red. And this is going to be a mix because I don't want anything to blend. I just want it to sit on top. But I don't want bloody stuff all over the place all the time. So what I did is I used another mix node before that. And so I'm setting it to black, which is essentially 0. And I'm creating a factor. And this is going to be the blend amount, right? So let me set it to 0 right now. And I'm going to feed this into the factor instead. Okay, and so you can see there's no blood anywhere, or dirt, or damage, or whatever you want to call it. Now, if I move this up, see it start to show up, and I can go even more than it's supposed to if I want to. Just make them just covered and look like a disaster scene. And if I wanted to change the mix, like make it a multiplier, I could. So now it's just like caked. Like this man has been through hell and back, right? Oh, it's crazy. Just make it a full out. Or I can just take it all the way away. Make it a little bit. And so you can play around with the blend and what you want to do. But for now, I'll just leave it off. It's a nice clean again. Nice. So that's how you set up the grunge mask on there. Let's see, what else? There's an AO map that's going to be added to it as well. Which I'll explain in just a moment. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a group so I can use it later. All right, let's see. So I got to see what I want to group. So I want to group all of, I think I'm gonna group all of this. All right, so let's go ahead and make a group. And now I need to make sure I've got some controls. So I'm gonna go ahead and label this stuff so I know what I'm working with later. So this is the, this is my OBD. I believe. All right, I'm gonna, this one I believe is the, I'm gonna say color input. So this is where it's coming along the so it can get fed in. All the other masking stuff that I did will get fed in and everything will apply. I don't need to do anything for this. Now for this, I want the value. So I'm going to unplug that, and I'm going to take this factor and plug it up here. And I'll call this damage amount. And make sure it's set as a float. Yep, so it's just a number. And I'm going to also make the color editable. So I'm going to plug that in. And we'll call this damage color. And I'm setting it to multiply right now. I think I'm just going to keep it at multiply. If you wanted to change it, or if I wanted to change it later, I could. The good thing about this is that the damage is applied to a lot of the different materials as well, under the same fashion. So I don't want to have one as a multiply, one as a mix, and whatever. So I can always come in back into any one of them in the future and switch it from multiply to blend or dodge or whatever, and use that. And it will apply to all of them. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and I need an output as well, because I'm using that OBD mask. And I'm going to go ahead and take this blue one, plug it in the bottom. And this is going to be my... Oh, wait, no. It's not. Okay, this red one is opacity. And I'm just going to move it to the bottom of the list. And this output, I'm getting two outputs for whatever reason. But shouldn't need it. So I'm going to delete this one. And color output. Okay, so I want to make sure that this color output is going into the right spot. Let's plug this in. Give it a second. Things get delayed when you run your computer at 90 degrees 24/7. All right, cool. There we go. So now within this, I can... Oh, wait, hold up. I don't think I got it wired correctly. And I say that because this damage is set to 1, and I see no damage. All right, go ahead, do you. Appreciate you stopping by. Oh, okay. That's what I forgot. So, my damage color, my color input, my factor. Hold up, what did I forget? Oh wait, I don't even think I need... Okay, there we go. Is that right? It's not right. I'm not sure what I did. Okay, I've got this going in. This going in. me try to just pull this. Okay. It's strange though, like if I go up to like 5, it's working. If I do 1, maybe it's because I use the multiply. I think that's what it is. That's what's messing me up in my head. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so when I do mix, it's like that. When I use multiply, it takes a little bit more to actually impact it. I'm gonna go back to multiply, but I just need to make sure I remember that. So I'm like, did I break it? It should be working just right. But yeah, so. Oh, do I have it clamped? I think I have it clamped. I'm gonna turn the clamp off. Clamping the factor means that you can't go, you stay between 0 and 1. So even if you slide it above 1, it won't go. Oh, why won't it let me go? This is not clamped, but let me see. Oh, look, I have a maximum range. We'll set the maximum range to be like 100. I'll make it like 10, I think. There we go. Oh, that looks dirty. My man needs a shower. The Halloween outfit. But you know what? I might be able to make Halloween versions, like this whole massacre versions for Tekken 7. I don't know. I gotta think about it. But okay, it's working again. And it starts from 0 to 10. And there we go. All right, so now I can plug it in from here. Okay, cool. All right, so we're cooking with gas. All right, so that's the setup so far. I'll be able to use this later for the next one, and I'm gonna go ahead and set up the next one on stream, I think, once I'm done with these parts. Okay, so the next part is kind of easy. If you have a TSE map, I'm not sure what T stands for. We've discussed possibly being transparency or tessellation, but I haven't really found a T channel that actually has anything in it. So like if I go over here and I just place this in the base color to kind of see what's coming, it's just nothing. S is usually specular on the clothing. And so this will end up going into the specular section there. You can't really see anything, it just kind of messes with light a little bit. And then the last one is E for emissive, and in this case there's no glowing stuff. It'll be interesting if I get a chance to get my hands on Raven to see how things glow. I think Lars has glowing stuff as well, so maybe I'll work on Lars. I don't know, we'll see. But this is just going to go into emissive, and this setup is done. So I'm just gonna make them little. They don't need to take up that much space. All right, now this setup here is the pattern color. We already went over that. Just try to compact it a little bit. All right, so that's our coloring, that's our texture, or our specular and our emissive. Let's plug this back in for now. All right, let's take a look at normals. Oh, and you can do, I like to group things into frames as well. So I'm gonna keep this stuff together. So you can do this and hit, I think, Control J. It creates a little box, and then we can move the whole box around together. Sometimes it's easier, and then you can label them as well. All right, but these are, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Control J for my normal maps. All right, I don't need that. So normal maps are pretty simple. Like if I go ahead and click on this, it should open up over here. And most game engines or things built for Unreal Engine are gonna use a DirectX normal map, and then Blender uses an OpenGL, and other games use OpenGL as well. The biggest difference between these is the direction of the green channel, so it's just a matter of flipping it. But to make things easy, I created a little node group here. Let's switch this. All right, so there's our normal maps, and this is an additional map, and this is the main map with all the wrinkles and everything on it. And we need to combine them, right? So that way they all work together. And there's a couple of ways that you can combine normal maps. I found that the cleanest results is when I use a vector mix node versus a color blend node. You can use either one, but they have their own peculiarities. I like to have it because I've already got it set and run through as a full normal, and then I mix them together. Okay, so, and it's real simple. In here, basically what I'm doing is I have my color input coming into a separate color node, and then I have a combined color node. And then you just grab an invert color node and just run it through. And then plug it into a normal map, and then plug that into your output and name it whatever you want it to be. Because it's a flipped version of whatever normal map I'm using, and I just called it a flipped normal. In case I don't need to use a flip normal, I don't want to have to come in here and make changes all the time, so I just gave myself a second option. So using that same color input, I just put it into a regular normal map and ran it out. I also want to change the strength if I want to, so I just took strength and plugged it into my input, so that way I can add that information. And then I made sure that that was attached to both of the normal map options, so that way I could change both of them. I don't have to change them independently. Since I'm only using one at a time, there's no possible way they conflict. I also, for this particular model setup, the detailed normal maps have an AO and a normal map, and I believe the AO is in the blue channel. Yep, here we go. And so, not for the main one, for the main mesh AO, it has one, and we're going to set that up, but this is for the actual detail maps, and that's what I'm going to be doing shortly. But there we go. There's that. So I create that node, and I can use that node anywhere I want to. I could change the strength. Anytime you have the values coming as an input, you could change those and it won't impact anything on the inside. So I use a vector mix node, and basically it's just a mix node, and you just set it to vector. I run the actual normal maps into each one prospectively. If you've got some type of mask that you want to use, you can plug that into the factor, and then just like with the color blend, this will be your original one, and this will be your output. So whatever is white in your factor will show up here. Whatever's here will match the white stuff, and what's over here will match the black stuff, or a gradient depending on how your mask or your factor is set up. But you don't get any like fancy blend modes. You just have uniform and non-uniform. Non-uniform is you're actually affecting the different vertexes. I don't really use it that often, so I'm just using uniform. And then you just plug that into your normal map slot. And now we've got cool stuff, right? I also created a little UV scale node because I hate making this thing a million times and they're so big and clunky. So I just took a texture coordinate node, plugged the UV into the vector, plugged the vector into the output, right? Took the scale and plugged it into the input and made sure that it was set to float. If it's set to vector, oh, that's color. Let me set to vector. Then you can change each of the stuff. You can see like it all moving around and stuff, whatever. This isn't meant to be vector scaled or anything, so it's gonna look horrible in this example. But if you needed to do things specific for some reason, then you could use that. In this case, I don't, so I'm just gonna keep it as one input as a float, and it will affect all of the different coordinates. So if I make it big, it makes it big across the board. And it's because I'll be using it for tiling and stuff, that's fine. If you don't have any specific UV maps, you're good. If you're going to deal with some specific UV maps, there's a couple of adjustments you need to make. But I would assume that if you're using that method, you're a little bit more knowledgeable and should be fine. But yep, so these are the different groups I've had. That's some of my normals. The other main piece is the RMAs, and that's your roughness, metallic, and ambient occlusion maps. And so here's how I have mine set up. So I've got, so when I look at these, right, I pull this one up, and let's look at the same map, let's say red. Put here, and we'll look at that. So I look at this, and I'm like, okay, that looks pretty good. And then I look at this one, and this one is a lot lighter. And so I need, well, first I need to separate them, right, into different color groups. I'm gonna go ahead and shorten these. Oops. I'm gonna go ahead and shorten this one. Okay, so I take each of them and split it up based on the channels. Alright, so this is my red channel. So each of these, both this one and this one, both get split into the red channel. And then I put the what's it called? The base map as the original. Like the base image, and then I put the second one as the factor, and then I set this to default at the lowest it can be, I believe. And so this is, or I think in this case I put it at the highest. But either way, I can go in here and I can change the factor of that blend. And let me go ahead and just kind of, I'll plug it into base color. Okay, if it's full white, okay, so here's the roughness, right? And so this is going to give me a pretty rough map. The lighter, I think I have it. I wonder if I have it backwards. These ones are such a tricky one. My brain never wants to settle down. So you can do a couple of different things. So let's kind of, and I got ADHD, so I'd be forgetting what I did and why I did it. Okay, so let's take this. Let's just blend them both together and see what happens. All right, and here's our roughness. And it's hard to tell the roughness without some color, so let's throw some color on here. And what I'm looking for is to get that shiny back. And you've got the normal maps that are going to give you some like light reflection, but this doesn't look very shiny at all. And I want it to be shiny like this. Where's that? Look at that. That's some metal. I need that thing being super metally, not very rough at all. So I think what I found is that the best result was setting this here, setting this here, and this here. Oh, why is it not plugged in? Plug in. Oh yeah, let me plug it into the roughness. That's not the roughness, I just can't see. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, 7? I believe if I turn this down now, do I have it in the right spot? I wonder if I should do it as a mix instead. Okay, so it is a lot shinier on the trying to get a good angle. It's kind of hard, but it's a lot shinier on the emblem is what I want. And this flattens that out. No, that looks flat as hell, so I don't think that's gonna work. Oh wait, or maybe it will. Actually, let me see. Okay, I think I'm gonna change that up. Okay, so I'm gonna run the color base as the result. I'm gonna set the add as the factor, and then I'll set this to whatever degree of it that I want. If I make it at pure white for a roughness, that's gonna be like no reflection. If I make it at all the way black, that'll be max reflection. Yeah, it was good. Oh, the complexity of stuff. Look, I learned all of it out of necessity. When you want to do something, you gotta learn how to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna reset this flow here, right? So I've got this, and one of the things I love about like modding is that it's always difficult to try to learn new stuff and then apply it. But when you got like professionals who have created something, and then now you got to reverse engineer to kind of figure out what they did, why they did, how they did it, and they're not there to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta learn some stuff, or you're just gonna be guessing all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of guessing all the time. Okay, so the second part, we split it into the green channel. The green channel is the metallic, and I'm gonna set this up the same way as I have it up here, where this is onto the result. And this part is gonna be my control, essentially. And we're gonna go ahead and plug this into metallic. All right, now that's way metallic, right? I think that's too metallic. So let's turn that down a bit. Or maybe not, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, that looks kind of crazy though. I kind of like it, pretty metally. But this shirt, I haven't seen it in the game. mean, but that's super metal right there, so I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll make it less though. I still got a lot more stuff to put in. All right, and then this is the AO map, and we're gonna set it up the same way. I think I already had it set up the same way there. All right, and that's blending into the that's already blending into the color chain. All right, cool. But I don't want to do this like a million times. I just want to kind of keep this where it is. So I think what I'm going to do is make a handy dandy group. So I'm going to grab this and we're going to make a group. And now that should all be plugged in correctly, but I'm going to change the names to match the maps. So I've got this add map on the bottom. So we'll call this one add RMA. This will be RMA. All right, now as for outputs, we're gonna have, I believe the top one is my ambient occlusion, which I'm just gonna call AO. And then this next one is the metallic. And a roughness. All right, cool. So now, oh, and I want to have some control, right? So let's add some controls. So I should be able to just plug this into here. And so this one is for roughness. So I want to call this one rough CTL for control. And I'll change this to note. And we'll do this one. Same thing, we'll change it to a float because I just want to use a number. I don't want to use like a color picker or anything. We'll call this metal control. I'll just call it control. Nice to. And then AO. The AO isn't very strong. But it's whatever. All right, cool. Now, if I want to change any of these, I can. I set it to 1. Say 0.5. Say metal, 1. Right, that's 2 metal. Say try 0.5 for that one as well. That's not bad. But that's where you get to change it. Let's say 0.8. Say 0.6. Alright, cool. All right, I think I'm gonna switch this color around. Oh wait, no, I can't up there. Just keep that default at 1. All right, nice. But now, and all this time for this one material kind of sucks, but you'll see the benefit of having these things done very shortly. Let me delete that frame. All right. And I really don't want to, the next part is going to be really tedious. So I'm going to wait. Oh, like all, it's, very feasible. There's going to be some changes to the whole thing. Oh, I got your request to do another video. Appreciate it, House. Yeah, so all the anime mods and such like that, yeah, we can bring them over. Now, whether people are going to and people are going to learn how to do it, time will tell. I may do some out of practice as I'm trying to figure out how things are working. I'll probably do a lot of stuff for like free and maybe on request as I'm trying to figure out new things. But eventually I'll just go back to just making the stuff I make anyways. Unless commissioned otherwise or something like that. But yeah, we can definitely bring the mods over. But there's a lot more to it. So I don't know how good they're going to look at first. So that's one of the reasons why I want to understand the whole process of how the game is using it to build their stuff. So that way I can then adapt things to that. So it's like adapting to someone else's adaptation. It's just all kinds of adaptations 24/7. All right, let me try to clean this up a little bit, make it look a little bit better maybe. For all. Oh, you don't want to pay my prices, that's for sure. All right. I spend a lot of time. Any of the mods that I've done or work for people, I spend way more time than I'm supposed to. Because I got my own quality standards I want to keep. Not to say anything's bad about any of the other guys that are out there, because they do some good stuff. I should know was there. But yeah, a lot of the animes are good. We'll see how it works. It's still really early, so, and there's not a huge amount of modders, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how it goes. That's one of the look. It's a ADHD fucking person's freaking wet dream. I get to learn about players. I get to learn about characters. I get to learn about engines. I get to learn about story lore, side quests. You know what I'm saying? Then there's the community of people that are online, going to offline events. It's crazy. All that research, all that discussion, all that talk. And then you get into modding, and now I'm trying to understand how everything works on the inside. The only thing I'm not going to get into is like game mechanics. I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like that gets exploited enough in ways that I don't think it's productive. But this way works a lot better. Okay, cool. So this is the end result of just the base colors and things of that nature. If I go back to F model, this is the part that I'm not looking forward to. See all this stuff here? These are all additional detail maps and different instructions to really make it look perfect. And there are a lot of IDs and things to mess with. Not a lot of different maps, but a lot of IDs and such. And so I have to figure it out and how to want to set the settings. I don't think I'll be messing with NSO too much on this end, but I will have to set up the UV maps and the stuff. And the way that works is basically any of these areas that I have set up, the devs can pick and choose what they want. Say they want a leather looking material for this area. They can use that ID mask that I set up earlier and apply just that normal map to that section. And then to a section right beside it, like same for threading, I can add a different normal map for that. And I can add a different normal map for over top of this. And then I can all kinds of crazy stuff. And you can get really creative. Just to get that really clean, fine-tuned detail. And not just that. But right now it's still looking really good with a nice blanket, normal and stuff. But let me go ahead and save. What is it? Control S. I do think that some of that hack modding though is better in some of the other games, like especially like 1P games or non-competitive games. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that stuff, because I mean, people want to have fun, and if they have to spend, not everybody's idea of fun is like using every inch of their brain cells to figure out how to advance in a game, you know what I mean? Try to clean this up a little bit. I don't know where to put it. Right here. Alright, let's see. Control S. Alright, so let's go to another material. Alright, so I'm gonna hit Alt H to unhide everything. And we've got more to do. Let's see how many materials he has. Materials. Most of these are skin materials. So he's got the tops, he's got his gloves, he's got his shoes, and he's got his bottoms. So let's do the bottoms. So I'm gonna turn the use nodes on right there, hit select, and then I'm gonna hit Control I, and I'm gonna hide everything else. So now we got some pants. Let's go ahead and put some pants, color stuff on them. So the way I do that is I go find my little stack here, hit Shift A, search, ask to search, and type in image texture, and let's go find them. And my folder should be open still somewhere. Actually, I think it's this one. And Tekken has done a really good job of the naming convention, so it's really easy to find stuff. Other models and other games are not always very consistent, so, or they've been redone, or they're using a lot of shared assets and stuff. So this is bottoms, so I'm just gonna type in bottoms up here. And it should just give me all the bottoms, well, all the words, all the bottoms. And these are the different maps. Oh, there's a bunch of maps. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, you can just drag and drop these in. That's what I like to do. And I grab everything except for the diffuse, and then I just select the diffuse. Okay, so here we go. So here's our color map. If I plug it in, boom, that's what I got. We got some lightly colored jeans. So now it's time to go ahead and have some fun and do all that crazy stuff that we did in the other one. But this should be a lot faster because I can use the groups that I made in the other one. So where's my ID map? Where you at? ID maps around here somewhere. Oh, we'll need that later. RMA map. Okay, so here's our ID map. And we can go to F model as well, kind of get an idea of what we're going to be working with. I go to bottoms. I can go to split number right here, and it says, what does it say? It says, I don't know, I'm blind. I don't know if this is going to work with this stream on. Well, I don't know if it's showing correctly, but it says, okay, so it's going to say, it says 3 for the red channel, 3, my goodness, 3 for the red channel, 3 for the green channel, and then 1 each for the blue and the alpha. All right, let me make this thing small again. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over to this material, and I'm gonna borrow this thing here. So I'm gonna hit copy. Let's go to our bottoms, and I'm gonna hit a paste. Okay, so this is a 3. That's what I need. And actually, I got to take a quick break because nature is calling. And then when I come back, I also have to figure out what is the best way to duplicate this node setup without ruining it. Because I've done that before, and I don't want to do it again. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. Sorry for the break. Okay, so let's get this set up for thing. And I think what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna hit Shift D, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a group. All right, a new group. And hold on, let me go up top. And I need to match it up. And I'm gonna, actually, I think I'm gonna do it again, but I'm gonna add 2 more slots here. And I'm gonna add 1 more slot here. And that way I can just kind of like pick and choose. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and delete that for a second. Let's go ahead and hit Shift D, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make. Actually, I wonder if I can just make that whole thing a group again. I don't even know. Let's see. Let's hit Shift D. Okay. All right, so I made a group inside of there. Really what I'm looking for, and I used both of them because I want to why are these numbers like this? Why is 1 and 2 down here? Why is it all flipped around? Oh, I don't know. Either way, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And then delete it. Or let me copy it and then paste it and then delete it. So I'm going to go out here. And I'm going to paste it. Boom. And basically I'm recreating this thing. Which I think... Okay. It looks all messed up. I don't know why it's all messed up. But I'm gonna reorganize it a little bit. Let's get 1 all the way up the top. Let's get 2. There's 2. Add 1 here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14.
Check it.
Okay, cool. And so what I intend to do now is oh wait, what can I do? Try to think. I want these to be repeated, and I need these to be repeated.
Check it.
That's all good. This stuff can get confusing sometimes. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it less confusing for everybody, or at least less confusing for myself. So I think what I'm gonna do is expand this one back out again real quick. And I'm just gonna plug these into here, even though they're not being used right now, right? They're not following the chain. That way, when I go ahead and consolidate it again, I'll still have just those four. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And like I said, I'm still in the process of streamlining this and making it all good. The first step is to make sure it's set up correctly. Next step is to make it set up efficiently. But I'll be able to use this. So I'm going to delete this. I don't need that one. And so what I'm going to do how do I want to do this? Okay, so let me look at Fmodel and see what colors I'll be using. I'm going to move to my other screen because it's bigger. I can read it, but I don't need as many. So I just need 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 13. All right, I just need these ones here. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. So I'm gonna change this up a little bit, and I'm gonna use this one. Because this is a 3-piece. And I'm gonna set these up here to this factor, and this factor. This one doesn't need to be anything, so I'm just going to make it small. And make sure this is plugged into that one. And up here. Alright, so I've got these three up here. So this is view them all 1, 2, and 3. Now this is still off. This is a 3 as well, so I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to make another copy of this 3-piece one. And do the same thing. This is going to go into here. Oops. I don't know why I'm going to have to work on the numbers issue. But I know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm just going to keep it that. Yeah, I'm just going to have to figure out a better naming schema that can be repeated. But I'm going to take the first 3. If I go in here to double check, this is my 3-piece, yep. And actually, I should probably do this. And I'm going to change this to 01, 02, 03. And hold on, let me see if that messes this up at all. And I think I have to make some changes because it looks like this part got changed around. So I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. Ah, that's annoying. Let me do that real quick before I get too far in. So we got 1 going there. Let's put 2 here. There we go. That's it. That's all I need to do. Nice. And then this one isn't attached to anything. All right, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to map out all the different possibilities and figure out what the best thing is. But I can do that later. Let's go into our bottoms here and get this set up. All right, so I know I have a 3-piece here, a 3-piece here, and then these, so red, green, and this one I'm gonna delete, and this one I'm gonna delete, and this one I'm gonna delete. Oh, you know what I need to check here too? All right, so what I don't have in here is a split, so I need to do that. Separate color node. So it's gonna go in here, and then this is gonna go red, green. And I should be able to actually just put the alpha and the blue directly into their slots. So for the red one, I have 1, 2, and 3, right? So we're gonna grab 1, 2, and 3. And for this one, we've got 5, 6, 7, and then blue will go to directly to 9 because there's no slots for it. And alpha will go to 13, which is right there. And I'm going to take this result, which is at the bottom, and put it all the way to the top. I'm not sure why. Oh, because, okay, never mind. We'll keep this at the bottom. All right. And I don't need... And actually, I don't... Okay, yeah. So now I need to make sure these are set up correctly. So I've got this set up. And this one is set up. And I'm just gonna make them random colors. And what did I say? Was it 3, 3, 1, and 1? Three, 3, 1, and 1. Okay. All right, and so this one doesn't need to be hooked up. We'll make this one small. And none of these need to be hooked up. I'm just gonna unhook all of it right now, just so is what it is. This is just a 1, so I can put that there. Let's go here. Man. Take that extra one. Unplug you. And I'm taking this factor here, and this factor is going into this factor here. And this is the result, so this will go into this one. And this is blue, so this factor will go here. And this is the end of the 3, so it'll go to here. This one will go here. And so we should have a nice working chain right now. colors up for here. We'll make this one. Let's make it. This one. Let's make it different. Oh. Alright, so we'll just set up all the color slots like here. Or, wait, what's going on? Okay, no, I don't need to do that. So what I can do is I should be able to just plug this into here, this into here, and then let's plug this, oh, not there, let's plug the result into here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so there's our pants. So let's take a look at our pants. See if we can see all the colors. I don't see any red. Go in here and see what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and shorten this up real quick. So I'm gonna take this and plug it into result and see what's going on. Interesting. So nothing's happening. Oh, why? The only thing that's showing up is this main color, which I don't want. I don't want that. And some red is showing up. Some red is showing up, but not all of it, and I don't know why. Maybe I need to expand this a little bit more. Well, it's kind of crazy because if I look at red, I'm only seeing one split. Did I look at it backwards? Maybe I looked at the wrong thing. Maybe they're backwards. Let's see. Or hold on. It might be because I have to do this, channel packs. There we go. I think that was the problem. Okay, I'm still not seeing any red. So let's see. One. .397. And I also need to see if that's going to affect this one, which I don't think so. All right, that makes a little bit more sense too, because it's thirds, right? But I don't see any green. It's kind of strange. Wish it doesn't undo. Oh, this stuff is annoying sometimes. Just do some research real quick. Oh, it's getting frustrating. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I've been working on it for too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this for now, and then I'll be back later. I'll try to come up with, I need to come up with a universal shader piece. That's the parts that I'm running into. I can do it all individually, and I can make it look good, but making a universal one, for whatever reason, there's a piece of the puzzle that I am just not getting. So I'm just gonna reset and then come back and play some Tekken.